Alright guys, final video. This one's on the warning signs of ADHD, and you'll see in the intro here it's a little bit longer than the other ones, but it's just because of the mix of symptoms is so unique to everybody. And I want to make sure that we go over the 3 areas of symptoms so that if you have any of these things going on, you can know that this is maybe what it could be, and you can use the tips and tricks for what you each are experiencing for yourselves. So the symptoms of ADHD, formerly known as ADD, there's 3 groups: inattentive, hyperactive, and impulsive. So let's talk about each group briefly. So inattention, this is where you might find yourself procrastinating a lot, being disorganized, lacking focus, having a hard time paying attention to details. You might get pinged at work or in school for careless mistakes, having trouble staying on topic while talking, or having difficulty following the topic while listening to others, being forgetful about daily activities, or being easily distracted by other noises. Hyperactivity, this one is more obvious in your body. So this is where you might fidget and squirm, need to get out of your seat frequently, might, as a younger person, be seen as like you need to run or climb a lot, even when it might not be appropriate, or just general restlessness if you're a teenager or an adult, having trouble doing hobbies quietly, feeling like you're kind of always on the go, and even talking excessively. Okay, last category here, impulsivity. So this is where you might be impatient, have a hard time waiting your turn to talk or react, or just waiting your turn in general. Blurting out answers before the question is even finished being asked. Frequently interrupting or intruding on others. Starting conversations at inappropriate times. Impulsivity can also lead to accidents like knocking things over or walking into things. And the other last area is engaging in risky behavior. So like without stopping to think about the consequences, we might do something impulsive. Like for a young child, it might be climbing something and not understanding that it's dangerous. For adults, that might look very different, but impulsivity in general, it's just taking behaviors without thinking about the consequences. So the first tips I have are more for younger people, so college or school oriented, and you might have a child that has symptoms of this, so hopefully this will be helpful for you too. So school organization, and these again might sound intuitive, but sometimes we forget that these are things that putting all the pieces together and doing them all at once can really be helpful. So setting up a homework area where all of the supplies are at a station, and it needs to be in an area that's visible around the house. So along with that, we need to have an area that's reduced from distractions. So it might be a den or the kitchen, as long as it's not a high traffic area at the time that they're trying to do homework. Second step is to create a routine for homework that's followed every night. So I tell people, even if you're in a school that doesn't have homework every night, or if you got your homework done at school, you still maintain that routine. And so if you've allotted a time from, say, 4:30 to 5:30 to do homework, you would still maybe devote 15 to 30 minutes of doing something educational. So like doing an educational program on the computer, or reading a book, or getting ahead on a project that maybe due later down the road. Step 3 is get a large calendar and just organize when your appointments are, assignments, projects, tests, quizzes, so you know what's coming, so that allows you to know what you need to work on in advance. And the last step here is to set up a specific place to put your completed assignments. So this might be in a binder, but maybe there's a special folder where we put everything that we finish, as soon as we finish, into that folder, so every student gets to school with their completed assignments. The second tip for this one's really for kids, teenagers, and adults. So there's some really great fidget toys on the market right now, and I've got some of these pictured here. For adults, I use this one that's pictured, the bubble jar, and so you can flip that and watch that and kind of help your mind focus. There's a lot of hand fidget toys like the marble toy here and the Tangle toys that you see as well. These are really great for students in the classroom so they can move their hands and they can fidget without having to get out of their seat. This is also really great for your workstation at work because you can fidget with them and, again, not be getting up and stay on task. And then some basic tips for adults. So making sure that you set time limits for decision making. When you have symptoms of ADHD, you can get really stuck in your thinking or get overloaded in your thinking, and it makes it difficult to stay on task to make the decision. So set a time limit for making your decisions. Give yourself short bursts. Keep a to-do list and keep it short. Fight the urge to overcommit. And this is a really big one in our society today. Like, we are all overcommitted. So making sure that you say no, because what you say no to allows you to say yes to staying organized and keeping things done. Set reminders on your smart devices. Our phones are great tools for keeping us on time, getting to our appointments, and on task. And then get a clutter companion. So someone that's going to help you periodically toss, donate, or sell unused items that clutter your space at home or in your office.
Okay, so like Dr. Fincher said, there's a lot of different aspects. ADHD is very complicated, and it presents itself differently. When we're treating that chiropractically, and in my office we mostly treat kids with this, is the number one thing that we see is just an overstimulated nervous system. We talked about fight or flight before, and that's really what these kids are just stuck. The way I explain it to parents they are a Ferrari screaming down 35, except for they don't have nice big Ferrari brakes. They have bicycle brakes. So with chiropractic, what we want to do is be able to calm their nervous system down by finding those areas of subluxation and removing them, and then allowing them to get some Ferrari brakes so they can complete tasks and actually go through their day with some sort of focus as well. A lot of these kids are going to feel tiny stimuluses, so like the tag in his shirt, the kid tapping his pencil against his desk, somebody opening or closing a door. It makes it really difficult for them to focus and complete tasks when they can hear these tiny stimuluses all over the place. Also, too, because of that, the brain is so stimulated that nothing can actually stick to it. So when you're trying to give your kid homework or they're trying to actually focus on a lecture in school, it's really hard because the brain's spinning so fast that nothing can actually stick to it. So altogether, they're just very stimulated, and what chiropractic does for that is just helps their nervous system cope with that by slowing that down, switching them from sympathetic mode into parasympathetic mode, which is where we should be all the time. How do we do that specifically with correcting these subluxations is really just increasing proprioception. Now, what proprioception is when a joint goes through its proper movement, its proper range of motion, that sends good signals to the brain. It charges the brain's batteries, so it allows it to actually heal. That's when they're going to be able to equip with those Ferrari brakes and focus better. Subluxation can come back, though, with the same stressful stimulus. So, like Dr. Fincher was talking about, doing some things that will help with the actual environment so the subluxations are less likely to come back is going to be very helpful. Chiropractic care, when it comes to treating ADHD, it has to be specific. Most of it's going to be done with the atlas, which we talked about earlier. If that atlas is not in the right place, the symptoms of ADHD can definitely be there. Also, too, kids that suffer with ADHD, it's going to be managed for the rest of their life. Now, when it comes to as far as care and how often and those type of things, when you go through the actual treatment of ADHD, it is more frequent in the beginning and then slows down. But there is going to have to be some adjustments there throughout the lifetime. because there's going to be stressful moments where the body's not able to adapt, and we need to make sure that we're staying on top of the nervous system and always giving it that proprioception so the brain can slow down and actually heal. Gut health is going to be a big part of this as well. Besides the brain, the gut, which is your small and large intestine, produces serotonin, which plays a role in self-regulation. The gut is depressed when antibiotics, high carbohydrate diet, fast food diet. If you've known anything about ADHD and nutrition, dyes are a big part of what can complicate the gut and actually kill some of the good bacteria that's in there. So getting your kids off dyes, artificial sugars, chemicals in their food really helps maintain the bacteria in their gut. Probiotics are huge in healing the gut, but also helping with balancing the brain chemistry. So 9 times out of 10, if you bring your child into my office to get treated for ADHD, I'm also going to be telling you to get them on probiotics because they play such a huge role in the chemistry within their body, but also the brain. So if you can keep good gut health within your system, it's going to help manage your brain as well. All right, so this is our last slide, and we wanted to provide you guys some contact information for my office and also Dr. Fincher's office. I'm located in Fort Worth. There's my website as well as my logo. Here's Dr. Fincher's information as well. We work together on several cases because we found that if we can work together, we get better results with those patients as well. And that's why we're doing this webinar together, is to not only give you guys information, but to let you know that we play a huge role in treating our patients, and we've seen great results from that. So there's our information. If you're interested in getting in or contacting us, definitely take advantage of that. But this is the end of the webinar. Thank you guys so much for being with us and going through this information, and we look forward to doing more things like this in the future.